like Gaza, and now these attacks on Iran?
Well, I mean, the condemnation against what Israel has done in Gaza is more or less non-existent. And even when it comes to what's happening here in Iran, we're not seeing strong condemnations of the Iranian response. And so bottom line is, if the G7 leaders want to see de-escalation, one thing that for certain will not bring about de-escalation is zero pressure from G7 leaders on Israel to end the war that Israel itself started. If they want to see a de-escalation, there has to be some pressure on Israel, and it has to come from Western state. Otherwise, there will be none.
All right, Trita Parsi there, live from Reston in Virginia. Trita, always good to have you with us. Let's bring in Ori Goldberg. He's an Israeli political commentator. He joins me live now from Tel Aviv. Ori, good to have you with us. You've been with us throughout the morning. For our viewers who are just joining us, Ori, just tell us about what you've been seeing and hearing in the last hour and a half or so with these latest Iranian strikes on cities like Haifa and Tel Aviv.
A very serious Iranian barrage. I was sheltering with my children in our communal shelter in a suburb of Tel Aviv. We could hear interceptors, we could hear loud bangs. We still are not sure where impact was made, but definitely a major barrage that affected various scenes of various places around the country, and a general sense of fatigue among the people who share the shelter with us.
And what is the public sentiment in Israel, Ori, at the moment? I mean, many people would clearly support the government and rally around the flag in times of crisis, but is that sentiment changing in any way? Do people actually trust Netanyahu?
Well, people don't necessarily trust Netanyahu personally, but they are certainly rallying around his flag. They consider this strike on Iran to be a great success, and I think the Israeli public has been looking for a success after Israel's abject, abysmal failures in Gaza over the past few years. There's a sense that Israel is finally stepping up, that it is doing the right thing. There's also a clear awareness of the fact that Israel has no end game, that it isn't clear how long this war will last. The messages that we're getting from Prime Minister Netanyahu and his government are to expect a long war, not to expect to know exactly what's happening, but to take it in stride and come together in this struggle. But I guess you could say that there's a schizophrenia of sorts, because on the one hand there's great support, and I think great majority of Israelis are behind Netanyahu in this war. On the other hand, there's a sense that Netanyahu's government is not particularly competent, and perhaps more than anything, that the Israeli state is not equipped to care for its citizens, to give them a sense of what's happening. Israelis, the ones who can afford it, are shifting into personal survival mode. They care for themselves, they stock up on essentials themselves, and it's each man on his own.
Ori, as you've intimated, I mean, most Israelis know that this crisis can't go on forever. So under what conditions then, politically or militarily, could Netanyahu bring this conflict to an end? I mean, it seems as though Netanyahu, as you've intimated, has put Israel onto a path of perpetual war.
Yes, I think Netanyahu, as far as he understands security, or defines Israeli security for him is the ability for Israel to take lethal, violent actions with impunity without paying any sort of cost. But as far as the political means for getting out of this conflict, I can't say most Israelis are optimistic, because we are seeing what is still happening in Gaza, where after nearly 2 years, Netanyahu has yet to politically define an endgame or even a vision of such an endgame that will allow the Israel genocidal campaign to end. So there's no real expectation from the Netanyahu government. Again, there's also a sense of general relief. We're finally doing something. Iran has been threatening to destroy Israel for decades, and suddenly, Israel finds itself in the driver's seat. But there is really no expectation from Netanyahu